going live right now. Sometimes it takes a second to connect.
Good.
I think we're good. I don't know if anyone can hear us or see us, but maybe they could say in the chat if they can hear and see us. All right.
This one's the perfect gift for the friend who's been getting a little too comfortable during quarantine. Maybe your son.
Going live right now. Sometimes it
Cool.
takes a second to connect us, but maybe
sorry,
they.
I have to.
I think we're good. I don't know if anyone can hear us.
Hello?
Very strange. Something's going on. Was that your computer, maybe?
I have YouTube up. Should I do anything in Zoom?
I think you're good. I would just mute your YouTube because I think maybe I was hearing your YouTube just now and it confused me.
Yeah.
It looks like someone's here in the chat. I think they can. Can you hear us in the chat? Hi, AJ.
Hello?
AJ's here in the chat. You can hear me? Connor, are you there?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I
Cool.
think we're all good.
Awesome.
So, I've brought you here today to publicly call you out for being a French fry snob.
It's bullshit.
That's true. You're a French fry snob, and
We weren't making real French fries, and so it's just...
you need to get over it. Potato wedges count as French fries.
No, they don't. They're potato
fried.
wedges,
They're potatoes.
and they're not French fries.
They're close to French fry shape.
They're close to French fries.
And maybe we don't need to be so elitist about our French fries. Plus, I found a Wikipedia page that says that they're French fries.
Wikipedia, I mean, you learned in high school that you shouldn't trust Wikipedia all the time.
Well, this is 2021, so.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's see. So, cool. People can hear us. We just had the most awkward start too, with me trying to see if we were live. I'm deliriously tired, so that's how my life is right now. I guess I should start. I'll introduce you in a second. I'm going to do the giveaway here for last week's giveaway. If I can manage my stuff here. I just don't want to forget to do this. So I'm on random.org, and I'm going to do a random number generator. And I have a spreadsheet with numbers. So the number is 4. So let me look at the spreadsheet. So that's going to be Tori Tate. So you've won the book. So, I don't have it next to me. But it's the Cult Musicians book. So if you email me or message me somehow, let me pull up I have a little text document here with my email for you. Let's see if this works. There we go. There's my email. So if you want, you can email me and send me an address that works for something to get shipped to you, and I'll ship it to you. And other than that, later we will be doing a giveaway for... Woo! I'm so tired, dude. Some acoustic panels. So these are them. I have a pack of them. There's, I don't know how many. There's a handful of them. So all you got to do is pay attention, and something's going to happen. It's going to be really obvious what you have to do. You're going to have to do a certain comment in the comment section. Whoever does it first is going to win. So that's that. So we have Connor here today. Hi, Connor.
Hello.
What up?
Hi.
How you doing?
Nothing much.
Sweet.
Nothing much.
Let me introduce you. I'm going to pull up your little bio that we have here. Sorry, I'm disorganized. I've had the craziest week.
What was your week?
I started teaching my audio for film class at the college. And, sorry, I'm trying to open up your bio. That's always kind of crazy because the first week is me teaching them stuff about Pro Tools, so it's getting them to get comfortable with using the edit tools and stuff and all that. So it's always a little more tedious.
I feel you.
And I can't just sit back and let them work on projects either. So that's fun. And then that takes me away from my other work, which that means my days are so much longer, and I don't know. But here, I got your bio.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So Conor McEneaney. So you're the former owner and engineer of, do you say Oz Sounds?
Yeah, Oz Sounds.
Okay.
Studio.
Sometimes I say OZ in my head. I don't know
I know.
why.
A lot of people say it's Oz Sound Studio, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Or,
And that's in Nashville, Tennessee. And now you're the current engineer and producer at Seventh Circle Studio in New York City. And you're also an amazing drummer. I remember you were always really good at drums.
Yep. Yeah. We go way back. So
yeah. We're friends from high school, for anyone that doesn't know that. Not that anyone would have a reason to know that necessarily, but yeah, you were always really good at drums. I remember being impressed by your drumming. So you're a session drummer now, and you're a drum tech at the Sonic Arts Center in New York City.
Yep.
And we have your social media stuff in the description for anyone that's curious. Yeah. So, yeah.
I guess the only, other than Oz Sounds in Nashville, while I was doing that was kind of my own thing. And then I was working at Dark Horse Studios as well.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Franklin.
So what type of work do you tend to do lately?
Mostly mix engineering work. However, I think I prefer tracking, but it's, kind of few and far between now and, here in the city.
Yeah.
Or at least, whatever it is, it's mostly remote.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think most of my work is mixing and, I do a lot. I've been doing a lot of like reamping jobs.
Nice.
As of late, kind of like adjust to how things are. But I love mixing. I think I like tracking better, but just kind of be in that, I don't know, that connection while it's all going, kind of being caught.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sweet.
I'm not so much a producer, but I have.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do you have things really slowed down because of COVID? Are people being really careful in the studios in New York right now?
Yeah. Especially in, I'm at the very top of Manhattan, so it's just not, and most of the people, that I do work with are in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them, are kind of more relaxed than others, but which is great because I need to work with someone. But
yeah, that's the struggle right now. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah,
like,
but
how do you deal with it?
Still, still kind of trickling in, and hopefully, as time goes on, I'll be able to kind of move as fast as I used to.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been here for about a year, so there's things that keep me busy just, kind of within the studio and, optimizing and everything. So, and it was a big change or, move from Nashville with everything.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, there are things to keep me busy.
Yeah. And, that's good at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I used to do live sound for a while too. And like, I can't imagine it if I was doing that right now still, like it would just be.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's rough. But what's the vibe difference in like New York to Nashville?
Well, I loved it immediately. And I'll tell you why. Nashville was really work-wise, it was dense. It was really easy to get, work and
they've got a lot going on.
Busy, but it wasn't, straight up, it wasn't a really wide range of, styles, and it's Christian music, country music, and then people coming up from Atlanta for rap and hip hop.
Yeah, and you're more of like into metal punk kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
or mostly metal, right?
Metal and hardcore, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's definitely kind of my what I would always be like always like to do.
Yeah.
But I think in my 4 years there was one solid band that came through that was, I was all about their kind of straight up my alley. But
yeah, it was like your style.
Exactly. So coming here, it's New York. There's more people. There's people coming from all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And when I first got here before COVID, you could just walk around and, eventually you'll run into someone who like likes the shirt you're wearing and,
yeah,
Yeah, and just check them out. And then through the Sonic Arts Center, when being a drum tech there, it's like everyone's a musician, so it's just been really cool to be able to work on a larger variety of music styles, and as well as the ones I prefer. So it's I'm loving New York. I mean,
yeah. And that makes sense too, that like we both grew up outside in New York basically, so it makes sense that like your style would be similar to New York then.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Geographically, I don't know, there's something about that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I also kind of just from an engineering point of view, Nashville has they love that vintage kind of go to. You see a lot more large analog boards and full analog studios and people going to, which is cool. It's all good and well, but I don't know. Immediately I came up here and I just feel like just especially when I'm working with other engineers and passing things off, and it's a much more streamlined, much more
okay. Is it like less about the tradition and more about like just getting it done kind of stuff?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, like I imagine like the studios with the big like SSL boards or whatever it is, it's like a lot of times I feel like they hang on to those boards kind of for the tradition of it and the
for sure. Yeah.
And it's like sometimes a lot of the channels on those boards don't even work in studios like that, I've noticed.
Okay. I have when I was at Dark Horse, they were opening up a new facility like offsite from their first one, and they bought a used 56 SSL 4000 series, I think, and this thing came on a flatbed or tractor trailer, and they put like a dusty moving blanket over the whole thing, and it was like they set it up, and it was like half of the channels were they were showing signal, but nothing was.
Oh no!
It was completely effed, and
wow.
It was I don't know, while they were setting it up and the next probably 2 years of bringing it to life. It was a perfect example of like, this was, they just wanted that SSL board.
Yeah.
They didn't need it. It could have been, they could have made a much better decision with something.
Yeah. But I mean, that kind of stuff does bring clients in too, on the other side of it.
Sure. I love to see, I work with an analog board. But so, I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite, but
well, you used to have the Toft board, right?
I still do.
Yeah, you do. Okay, cool. I got that right.
And however, and I use it to, for the summing and if I want to kind of splaying it out and mixing on it, but I don't have to. And that kind of depends on the genre of, and also really, how kind of quick I want to be doing things. Also the recallability. So there's a flavor, there's something to, these pieces of gear, but
definitely.
But yeah, a lot of the times it's kind of like, I felt like it's like, okay, we're a studio in Nashville. We, nobody's going to come in unless we have this big, impressive board. And I don't know, a lot of times it was, after a while, I kind of yearned sometimes for just efficient, quicker setups. That sounded just as good, really, to me.
Right.
But that said, I mean, there's nothing like great pieces of hardware.
Yeah. Well, and like you say, the efficient, quick setups, but then we were like the other day just nerding out over being able to put up like 1 million drum mics in a room and
I mean, and I always will. But I don't mean to say efficient and quick as in cutting corners. It's just I mean, if you don't need the huge board, don't get it. But if you, I don't know, I don't really, if it was there since like 1972, that's cool. But
Right.
um, and other than the boards, it was just, it was kind of, I feel like everyone was adhering to, this kind of Nashville sound,
Yeah.
and which again, it's cool, but it was like a religion almost.
Yeah. And if it's
And
not your jam, then it's like,
exactly. And then
how
here it's
worth
like,
it is sticking
you,
around for that?
yeah, I can, and here I can find, studios and, with, setups of all kinds, and so,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of variety in New York. I kind of miss New York for that reason. Like San Diego's a big city, but it's not like New York. And I think LA takes a lot of
oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
business and the gravity. Like LA has a gravity to it, and
exactly.
it kind of
Exactly.
draws people away from San Diego, I think.
And like I said before, just in general, I got sick of just making, working on the same kind of music all the time.
Yeah.
And I do this because I love to do this, and so if it starts to get stale, then it's kind of a
Yeah.
stick in the mud. So,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
yeah, so that's why it's been great in New York. I mean, minus what's been going down recently, but
Yeah.
or not so recently, for a long time.
Yeah.
But definitely glad I made the move here. I'm also glad, I've um, spent time, you know, professionally in Boston, Nashville, and New York. So
Mm.
I like that, you know, I don't know. I like that I've had those experiences.
Yeah. It makes you
Um,
better rounded, I feel like.
yeah, I guess next stop is California.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe go to LA though. There's more there. I mean, I love San Diego and I'm staying here, so I don't know. Grain of salt, but yeah. Do you have any tips for people that are recording drums
uh,
or thoughts or things that you've tried
or,
recently or anything
uh,
fun?
geez, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we were talking before about throwing up a million mics.
Yeah.
Uh, as I mean, trust me, I love to do that, and I love to it's awesome. The more you know things you can catch is great. But
Hmm.
um, I think a good tip, just to keep in mind, is just you can get you can, I guess, take into account what the drums are going to be doing within the song, and if
Mm.
they don't need, like generally with metal, yeah, I mic everything,
Yeah.
and because I want definition for everything.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of more of a big rock, or even kind of like garage band or garage rock sound,
Hmm.
I tend to use less,
Okay. Yeah.
even just as little as four. Um,
I've seen some really interesting like single mic setups for drums.
I've used two. I've never
Yeah.
done anything with one, but I've definitely used two, and it came out awesome.
Yeah. I've seen some really impressive sounds coming out of that kind of a setup.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's
they can be just really cool, and really just, they have a personality.
yeah.
Uh, whereas I like metal drums to be. I do like to dirty it up, a little bit after getting a your standard kind of like precise, you know heavy dynamics
Mm.
metal drums, but I like to grit it up a little bit after the fact
Mm.
to give it some personality. But you can take two, three, four mics on a drum set, and really it's very, it's a cool color to it.
Hmm. Cool.
I love ribbon mics on drums. I love
Hmm. Yeah, we were talking
or,
about Coles on drums the other day. I like
those are
those.
always good.
They're cool.
Um, I don't know. I love you know taking like mono room mics,
Hmm.
and finding a space to do the drums, you know, if I have a choice, and taking like a ribbon mic and for a mono room and just putting it somewhere far away and reflective, and then crushing
Yeah.
that in the mix.
Yeah, that's so
That's
much fun. I like
always
putting
fun.
a mic like up against something really hard and reflective.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
if there's a nearby bathroom, with tile, and it's
Oh, that's a good one. I like
yeah,
that. I like that a
that
lot.
yeah, I like to do that a lot, and yeah, it's like I'm always finding, you know, you say a lot. It's kind of like, you know, there's no one set way to do things, and so
Yeah.
there's definitely, there's definitely things I always do, or I at least always tend to do, and it's like I always catch a bottom snare, and
Hmm.
um, I do, and a kick in and a kick out.
Hmm.
Um,
That kind
but
of ties into a question we got in the chat. So someone was wondering, what's the best way to record with four mics? Like if you had four mics, if you had to pick four microphones and then mic a drum set, where would you put them and
okay,
what would you pick?
4 microphones. I mean, you could do, like two large diaphragm condensers and cover the overheads.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
got your other two, just a solid, like a Beta 52
Yeah.
on the kick. Um, I like the Beta 52 more so than the AKG, but it's
Yeah.
really super subtle.
Hmm.
Um, uh, also, whatever Sennheiser's kick mic
Oh
is,
yeah, I've
I
seen that
actually,
one.
I actually like that more so than the Beta 52.
Huh.
Um, and then I don't know, experiment with then you got your snare, but like
Yeah.
you would have to, let me think.
How you
Actually,
place
maybe
it.
like, yeah, so it's like maybe not an SM57, but something, dynamic and wider, but so you can
Sacrilege.
catch that. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
I said sacrilege.
No, no. But that said, you're probably just going to end up with the 57. But um, yeah, I mean that'll solve it. That'll take care of it.
Yeah.
There's 4 mics is tricky because when it's like you have that. I don't know. I immediately think it's like, okay, I have those 4 mics, so I'm gonna do overheads,
Mm-hmm.
or stereo overheads. But like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, with three, something I really like to do is, a kick in mic, snare, and if I'm getting this right, and then something like a fathead or or Cole's kind of, you know, I'm assuming, like, let's just say that we're assuming that this is a four piece setup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to put the fat head kind of over the ride,
Okay.
facing the snare, and so it's kind of capturing, the whole, like, evenly the toms and the snare and the hi hat.
Mm-hmm.
Really good results with that,
Nice.
and so there's not one set way to do things,
Yeah.
but
That's the
yeah, I mean,
beauty of it, though, I think, is
yeah,
that we get to experiment and be
absolutely,
weird and.
absolutely. And then when you are in a situation where it's like you got a million mics and you feel like you think you should use them, it would be appropriate. Then you know, it's great to leave some leftover for just experimentation. Another thing I
Yeah.
like to do is like I love the fatheads in a Bloomline pair as
Mm-hmm. Nice.
another room stereo mic, and then another, on top of that, a pair of large diaphragm condensers, wider,
Mm-hmm.
uh, if you have the room and if you have those
Yeah.
available. So, um,
I think
drum
that's
mic.
important. I think like when people first start learning this stuff, a lot of times they're inclined to, I don't know, if they had to choose like a select number of mics to disregard the overheads and try to just do a couple close mics, end of sentence. But I feel like, and I know this is kind of true for all instruments, but I feel like with drums especially, it's like the room has such a big impact on the sound,
Yeah,
and people don't
absolutely.
realize that. And I don't know.
However, and with less so though with metal, I feel
Oh
well,
yeah.
like
Well, everything's
technical,
like crisp and like in your face with
exactly, and
yeah,
then you can kind of you can add the space later.
yeah.
But that said, my favorite records, there is a distinctive room sound, and it doesn't sound like somebody just mapped it out in Superior Drummer or something.
Yeah.
um, you know, there is like I said, a kind of grit to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I saw someone said the Glenn Johns method
Yeah.
to, it's always pretty, you know, uh, successful. But uh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, room. I mean, if you are, have a good room available, it's like 50% of the work
Yeah.
is it's done.
Yeah, then I just like throw up a bunch of extra microphones and hope for the best.
There was a great room at Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the like original site, but kind of like separated from the big main room, and it was a smaller size drum room, but it was almost like very well known within the area. So much so that it ended up getting turned into Nick Raxklinix's studio
Oh, huh.
and Rock Falcon, and he just kind of moved in and posted up, and then like
Took
I don't know,
over.
like two weeks later, Mastodon was in there,
Oh, nice.
but the drum room was it had this kind of like uh, like huge ceiling, but it was vaulted up. And I don't know
Interesting.
if that's the correct term, but
Yeah.
I know there's a setting for it, or there's a profile for it for Altiverb.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I wonder how
but
that, like, if it's that kind of ceiling, does the sound then, is it more likely to kind of bounce up and get caught up in the ceiling? Like, how does
I
that
believe
affect the acoustics, I wonder?
what honestly, it sounded 10 times bigger than what the room looked like,
Huh. That's
and
cool.
I wish I could describe how it looked and what I mean by that ceiling, because it really
Uh-huh.
wasn't a ceiling. It was the room was like this, and then it would go like this, and then it would go like this,
Oh,
and it went super super high.
interesting.
And I honestly think my personal opinion or belief is that they didn't really mean it to, like, they didn't really know what they were doing building it, and it was just like you know
It just happened
serendipitous.
to sound that way.
um but so that was a really really cool drum room to play in. um yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
great rooms are great rooms, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have that preset on Altiverb?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah. I was gonna ask
I
if you
should get
use
it. I
it.
remember somebody telling me that when I was down there, and
Yeah.
they were like, "This room is legendary," and I was like, "Okay,
Sweet.
it lived up to its name." So,
Yeah. That's cool. What's your drum tech work like? What
really, they have it's the Sonic Arts Center
Mhm.
at City College.
Mhm.
So basically, they have like 4 or 5 studio recording sets that they use,
Mhm.
and essentially, I'm in, I need to go and solve, all the, fix
Maintain it.
everything when it's broken.
Yep.
Uh, I go there when it's, during sessions, if they want me, if they want someone to tune them, if the drummer is not confident tuning them,
Yeah.
and then periodically I just go in and keep them in tune in general. But
Yeah.
yeah, just making sure they're all good and ready to
Functioning.
go, ready to mic.
Yeah.
Um, and and then I guess as far as like, even if they want me to, it depends on the group, being recorded. But if they want me to kind of set up their mics too, then it's up to them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's cool.
I love doing it because I mean, before I was doing that, I was still doing session work, but it's like if I can end up getting paid for like fixing drums and tuning
Yeah.
drums, I do that anyway. So
Yeah, that's so cool.
that's awesome.
I'm
So
always super fascinated by like drum techs and guitar techs and stuff, and I don't know, like I've never done that kind of work, but I always thought that was a cool job to get.
when people, I don't know, personally, when people ask me about drum, being a drum tech and like tips and stuff and tuning tips, and they say, I can't figure out, how to get, I don't, my drums aren't in tune. I can't figure out how to do it. And it's kind of like a black magic to them.
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I always tell them it's just don't think about it too much. It's kind of, it's not as this wide, mysterious, practice that you think it is. It's like, I don't know. I have my own method of tuning drums. Everyone, I think all drummers have kind of their own method.
Yeah.
It works
it's a
for
little bit
me.
Wild West that way, huh? With the drum tuning.
Yeah. And, I don't know. I feel like mine works, and
what do you do, or is it a secret?
no, it's not a secret. Honestly, I basically it's get new heads,
Yeah.
or fresh heads. I generally like Evans
Sorry.
Evans Power Center or whatever they call it, coated on top for a snare, and hazy thin one ply on the bottom, and then I love Evans heads in general. I prefer them, but like the black resonant heads on the bottom, I think they do a really good job. And then
Cool.
Actually attack drum heads one ply for toms. I think they sound great. And then as far as tuning, I at first I start with just finger tightening all the lugs, and a lot of people they do kind of pattern and everything.
Yeah.
Actually don't.
Oh, really? Do you go like in a circle?
I finger tighten, and then I go in a circle in small increments across.
Okay.
And just get it generally even. And then honestly, it's to begin with, for a snare, I do that on for the resonant head. I make sure it's tabletop tight, and then the snares are in a proper position, and then the batter head, I finger tighten. I go in a circle, all around, and just in small increments, and then I press my hand once I do that, and I feel like the tension is right, which kind of depends on what you're playing.
That's the finesse right there, huh?
Once the tension is right, I put my hand in the center and just kind of apply a little bit of pressure, and then I just listen on each lug, and if I'm careful about it, there's just maybe one or two that just need to be kind of brought up evenly across the head, and if I've never had any issues with that. If it's a 5 lug snare, which I don't know, I personally don't come into contact with a lot, then I might do the star pattern. I don't use a drum dial.
Okay. I was thinking about asking you that, what your thoughts are on the drum dial.
Not like
That's
drum
probably,
dials.
Pretty controversial.
Yeah. A kick. I mean, I'm not kick drum tuning. It's like just put your resonant head on. I like to make it relatively like mid tension and even. And then your batter head, I like again, and an Evan, or no, sorry, I use an Aquarian super kick, and you're just looking for like a thud. So it's personally, it's usually looser than most people think, but just enough to that's not like rattling off the drum, but I don't know, it's just making sure you get that kind of thud, maximum thudness.
Yeah.
Sorry for being so normal about this stuff. But
No, I mean that's how we describe things in audio, right? Is with weird
yeah,
words like that.
I do have, for floor toms, actually all toms, I'll do what I did with the snare, and then if I feel like I want more depth, um, then I just pick, I pick a lug on top, and I pick the corresponding lug on bottom, and I just kind of, I'll loosen. If I want more depth, I'll loosen that one bottom lug, and if needed, the same thing with the top. That's kind of a trick that works for me a
Interesting.
lot.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
yeah, it's again, I just what's helped me uh, really kind of get my technique as a drum tech and get drums in tune is just not really think about it too much, and
Mm.
also just I was a drummer for many years before being a drum tech. So
Yeah.
um, it's like when I first started playing drums, I think they were sounded like paper plates. Um, but over the years, every drummer has their own. Every drummer at least should develop their own
Yeah.
method of getting their drums in tune,
I feel like if
making
you're really
sure
into it, you work
exactly,
on
yeah.
it. So
You know, um, if you want, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, but they want kind of like a wetter snare. Just yeah, I feel like a lot of the snare tone is most of it is designated by the or determined by the resonant head. So loosen it up if you want a kind of a wetter tone. If you want more of a crack, a definitive crack, then tighten it up. But you know, um, it is something. It's like for a beginning drummer, it's a learning curve. But
yeah.
I think you know, again, it's don't overthink it. you
Yeah.
know, and because it's not like you're tuning a guitar. It's tuning a drum. You just want it even, and so it's there's
Right.
no ugly overtones
Yeah, it's
and
more of like it's almost more textural than it is just hitting
absolutely,
a pitch.
absolutely.
Which
I also like to
I
just
wonder if that's why sorry, I just noticed like a lot of audio engineers played drums at some point. Like either used to play drums or were drummers, and I wonder if that has something to do with it because you get it. It's like if you're into the textural stuff, that's very similar to a lot of the work that we do in audio.
yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. It's like over the years as I've recorded my drums, and it's like I don't know why the hell does it sound like that,
Yeah.
and I'll go and see how it's tuned, and I figure out not to do that or
Yeah.
how it's mic'd. But tuning makes a such a huge difference. I mean,
Yeah.
it's but another thing as a drum tech, it's like I'm the drum tech, so I'm not the drummer. If that's what I'm doing, so
Yeah.
I always like to talk to the drummer and see what are they looking for? Do they kind of
Yeah.
want or even if they have like a reference track or something,
Oh, that's cool. That's very similar to the audio work that we do.
like even in metal, it's like some drummers, they'll always have a powerful snare, but sometimes it's like a high crack. A lot of people like to do that. And then on the opposite end, sometimes it's like this big, kind of meaty, wetter, lower tone snare. And so it's like I don't just kind of go in and set it up the way I like to, do things,
Yeah.
you know, um,
Yeah, that
in
makes sense. It's like
any
you,
one
you
way. Yeah,
essentially have a
I want to know
client.
what they want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they tell me, it's like I want my drums to sound like Gojira. I'm familiar with Gojira, and I'm not saying I'm as good as their drum tech, but I it gives me a sense of
Yeah.
where what I'm going, where
Yeah,
I'm
the
going with this.
direction kind of
Also,
thing.
it also lets me know which of the drum sets I would recommend. I guess it's up to them, but usually I just say that's the best one, and for whatever you're trying to do, and
Yeah.
they'll do that. So, um, yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
really, serving the artist is, a very
Yeah.
important aspect. Um,
Makes sense.
yeah. And, any other drum tech questions?
I had a thought. I was thinking about that. What's that gear you showed me like a month or so ago, maybe longer, where it had like the actual like arc. What was it called? It looked like a gimmick where they had like the
Game Changer Audio.
yeah.
I forget what it's called. It's like a high voltage distortion unit.
Yeah. Did you get one of those?
No,
Oh.
they're not like out of this world expensive,
Uh-huh.
but no, I didn't get one. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I maybe later on,
I'm
but
gonna see if I can get one on the screen here. I thought it was so interesting. I thought it looked like a gimmick at first.
yeah, but it's like it's like a little lightning bolt inside there.
Yeah, like
But
they had the little plasma pedal and stuff.
they and
Yeah, I'll
they
pull
they
this one
make
over.
the what? Yeah, I showed you the plasma rack. That's what it is, and then they do make a
Okay, yeah.
plasma pedal.
Yeah.
Uh, that might be cool to get. If I don't justify getting the rack model, but
Yeah.
that was just I came across that. That was just a really cool. What they were doing with kind of like the pumping distortion on drums. I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I just found a photo of it. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here. It's pretty cool. If I hope it'll let me pull it up on the screen here. I guess we'll find out. I'm like learning how to use OBS still. I
have another.
There it is.
Should I?
Sorry, I just put it on the screen.
Okay.
So like that's that's not just for display. That's actually how they're distorting the audio, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. And probably makes your studio look like some kind of like gothic sci-fi laboratory. Yeah. But speaking of gear, I came across another really cool thing you can look up.
Okay.
What was it called? The CXM Automatone.
Okay. Uh-oh, what did I just do here? Here we go. CXM Automatone?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm spelling it right. CXM Automatone? Is it a preamp?
It's like a reverb unit, but with
okay, preamp reverb. Is this it? Preamp
yeah,
reverb.
With the knobs, the motorized knobs,
whatever.
and you can like put in basically design presets and kind of like with moving reverbs. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Huh. Have you tried one of those yet, or?
I want to. I think it like just came out, but
okay. Oh yeah, because this says pre-order here.
Yeah, I definitely want to.
That's cool.
But how about you? Is there any like gear you've been looking to try?
I don't know. Nothing like that new or exciting. I try to avoid shopping because it's a problem.
Yeah.
So.
but I don't.
I want to get more because I just have like one set of studio monitors, and I kind of want to get like something like an Aventone or whatever.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have those like NS10.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. The it's made by like, it's not Yamaha. I forget who makes it, but it's made with the drivers. It's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those.
I was looking at those.
Those. I have the mixed cubes, and they do exactly what they're supposed to do. So
yeah,
I want to. I'm getting a little sick of these Yamahas. But,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on mixing with a sub?
I mean, I don't do it, but that's just because I don't have a sub in here.
Would you?
I think there's like a tendency, what I've seen, especially with people that are figuring it out. We're all still figuring it out. I don't know why I said it that way, but like people who are more towards beginner, I think what happens is if you give them a sub, they'll crank the sub, And when you crank a sub, then you're going to mix it with a little less bass in there maybe. So it's kind of has the opposite effect that people want sometimes. And then also like it's harder to control those frequencies in your space. So like if you're depending on the space you're mixing in, it might not be a great idea.
Yeah.
But I don't hate on it either, so I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I don't know. I like to ask people that because it's like everyone. I feel like everyone is different, obviously. But
What do you think about it?
I prefer not to.
Yeah.
But and I do say that because I did used to, and but I feel like they're dangerous. I feel like they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. It was always messing with my head there. So
Yeah. We had we have a sub in there's like a little studio at the college where I teach. And so they have a sub in there. And I've actually gone in there on occasion and realized that a student went in there while they were working on something and they cranked the sub so loud that at one point I activated the mic in the live room, like next door, not the same room. Like it's got double windows and everything. And it was feeding back the mic, just having the sub on. That's how loud they cranked it. And I was like, that's not necessary, guys.
it's really ridiculous.
And then they're like, oh, we have this noise in our recordings. And I'm like, yeah, let's turn the sub down a little, please, guys.
I guess I only ask that really because I do always try. I try to keep an open mind about everything, audio.
Yeah.
It's kind of just one of those things I'm set in stone with. So I do like to ask that question, but
yeah.
And especially because I do like a lot of bass in my mixes. Like, I mean, who doesn't? But just my favorite producers and kind of what I really usually I guess what you would call my signature, or what I try to make my signature is I do like a lot of low end.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's easier to achieve surprisingly without a sub. But
yeah,
it's also probably, because I do a lot of, metal and hardcore and, the drums have no dynamics. And, but
yeah, they're like more in your face.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm always having to, as I've kind of improved or, tried to, as a mix engineer, because I'm a drummer, I feel like at first my drums are just, I always have to rein in, how much I'm, putting those drums right in your face.
Yeah.
And it's like all I want to hear subconsciously.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of mixing low end too is controlling things that aren't quite in the low end necessarily.
Absolutely. And also like I like to make a decision on whether, how the bass guitar and the drums are going to, and the kick drum are going to, like, how they're ordered, I guess, which is going to be on top.
Yeah.
And it's always, for good polished, metal mixes, are the ones I really, enjoy. There's a lot of time taken into bringing out that bass because, a lot of times it's like, it's just kind of, it's just backing up the kick, or it's basically giving low end to, whatever the guitars are playing. And so, you often hear, in metal mixes, like, where's the bass?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that's kind of just acting as like the, if the bassist isn't weaving around in the song, then you really got to think of it as like kind of, acting, being the low end in the mix. And so, doing that, working, kind of carving between the kick and the bass is something I really, pay attention to.
Yeah. That's hard to get the hang of too.
Yes.
I feel like it can be very, very difficult.
Speaking of on for metal mixes also, I just got a dark glass based pedal, and it's like that's I don't know that I love that pedal for bass that's sitting in deep metal mixes, and it's like it kind of almost brings the tone a little bit upwards, but it's like buzzsawy. I love it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They're a great company.
Nice.
They're all,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna ask earlier how you add that distortion to stuff. Like, what are your favorite tools to use?
Decapitator.
Yeah, I like that one.
Decapitate. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
There's the BX Saturator, which is it's awesome. I think I go for Decapitator almost 9 times out of 10.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, I use that a lot for like I don't know, various purposes. Sometimes it's just sound design stuff, but
yeah,
I use that one a lot.
yeah. I'd have it like I don't know if I'm putting distortion on. I don't know, like I wouldn't. I usually don't put distortions on like single kick mics or anything, but sometimes like room mics or something like that. Again, it always kind of changes around, but Decapitator is definitely my go-to. There are sometimes if it's more of a rock or indie kind of vibe, then I'll try and get like there's some good tape emulations out there. I love the Universal Audio tape emulations.
Yeah.
Their Ampex emulation is awesome, and that adds some nice warmth and distortion, subtle. But what about you? What are your distortion go-tos?
Oh, I don't know. I got distracted by the whole sign situation. It looks like someone got it. So
Amazing, yeah.
yeah, I was like, how long are we gonna have to have this up here? So if you can email me, I'll send you the acoustic treatment. Sorry, I got really distracted.
No worries. No.
I was like hanging on a little bit, but barely.
I did just think of something. When available, I don't have one, but when available, Thermionic Culture Vulture unit. I wish I had 2 of those.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen anytime soon. But
how much are they? I'll leave this on the screen.
I don't know. It's money I don't have right now. But
yeah, that's like everything.
Those are incredible.
Yeah.
And for like background vocals, it's just most of the things I'm as far as what sounds I'm going for, they are applying to hardcore and metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Culture Vultures, I mean, they're great for that, but they're versatile for anything. That I would put on on like a kick bus, and just touch it with a little bit. So
have you tried the UAD version of the Culture Vulture? David Palmer mentioned that in the chat.
Absolutely. I have it.
Yeah.
That's
that's why you want one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the UAD plugins. I mean, I feel like people are either subscribed to it or not, but those are clutch in my mixes. And then after that, it's Sound Toys.
I love Sound Toys.
Yeah, Sound Toys and McDSP. And the next thing I want to get is Fab Filter. I've the standard waves.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I love the Renaissance waves package. That if I'm pulling up waves plugins, it's usually part of that. But yeah, I mean, I am a believer in the UAD emulations for sure.
Yeah, cool.
I think there's before I got this Warm Audio bus comp, like a SSL style bus comp, I had a UAD, that same UAD plugin pretty much always on my master chain.
Yeah. Nice.
Always strapped across that. So
yeah, I think they do a pretty good job with the emulations nowadays too.
incredible job. I mean, I can't, if it's, things I'm using that I've never used in real life before, I can't say much, but, I don't know personally.
That's close.
Like,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's close as it's going to get for now, at least,
yeah. Hi, Art, a guitar. He commented. It's Mike.
Do you have an UAD interface?
Yeah, I have a UAD. Yeah, I have the Apollo.
Yeah. Sometimes I use the Unison preamps. I have the API Vision Strip, which is awesome. I mean, if and when I can use, an outboard preamp, I'm going to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to, have 16 channels and, a couple more over there of that. But their Unison preamps are awesome. They're I use a lot. I use their like amp plugins a lot for if I basically just want to catch the performance and I need something. I mean, it could be cool in the end, but I just really need something as a placeholder tone,
right?
For tracking it, and then
reamp it later, kind of thing.
Later on, reamp it, through usually try out a different couple of different.
Yeah. I like doing stuff like that because I'm always afraid of like committing to a specific sound. So if like I can avoid,
I think reamping is like the best thing.
Yeah.
Like I think it's better than world peace. And it's so fun. Like it's for the most part, I like, when I'm doing this kind of work, I like having people here, who does, should be here, but people to bounce ideas off of. And we're that's why I said I love tracking, but reamping makes working alone so much fucking fun.
Nice.
And yeah, I do not like to be, strapped down to one tone. And yeah, it's like, it's infinite possibilities. And then a lot of times, sometimes I'll find the right amp, or pick the right amp or amps, mic that. And then I still have, if the original kind of like scratch tone was good, that usually doesn't end up in the mix, but I can reamp it through, an emulation, or not reamp it, just basically run it through, one of their good emulations too, and just like make these stacks of tone, And I spend a lot of time on guitar, if I, especially for heavy stuff. I mean, you should for any genre, but I do a lot of metal and hardcore, and I sure as hell spend a lot of time, making these guitars cataclysmic, and so, that's what people want.
And it's
so
fun how like digitally you can have things layer in a different way than you would have them otherwise.
For example, what?
Well, like if you're using like plugins as amp emulation, and maybe you're also doing reamping, but if you're like stacking those are going to interact in a different way than if you like put all those actual amps in a room and did it. Like,
Absolutely.
It's interesting that we can like make these different combos of
yeah.
It's like there's a different way to do everything. I don't know.
And you gotta you gotta be on your toes too, because it's like, in a second, once you add, your mic signal to these reamp or these amp emulations, it's like you could run into some trouble really pretty quickly. But but if you're just careful about that, I mean, I've gotten really good results, especially if it's like, I get kind of, the basic tone of what I want through a real amp. And then sometimes it's been, I choose like a kind of a stranger amp, digitally, that adds a certain something to it, or a bass amp, and
Like a weirder sound, or
like,
yeah.
it's like, okay, if it's, I need, like a heavily distorted tone, so I'll reamp it through, just to pick something like an HM2 and um, an HM2 and a 5150, or I like the PV amps. So I mic that and I get that, and then it's like I don't have to, but you can then use your original DI signal to run it through like an amp, like I don't know, like a Vox AC30. That wouldn't be, it's kind of a way different than what that original setup is, and just tweak those things until it adds, you're not just getting that kind of same old chainsaw kind of sound that is heard on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying necessarily it's that those two setups, like a 60, I'm not saying a 6505 and a Vox AC30 that works. I don't know if it works,
right.
but
like you get to be more creative.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It puts like a signature on your guitar mix. So
yeah, I like that.
Exactly.
Cool.
And yeah, so
I think we should probably wrap up pretty soon. But do you have any like what podcasts or what do you watch or listen to stay inspired? Do you have like anything to recommend that you like?
I mean, I hate to say it, I don't really, I don't really listen to many podcasts. If I'm confused about something or if I want to learn something, you can always hop on YouTube. But
yeah,
I like to know as many people who are doing the same thing I'm doing as possible, and I probably bother them a lot, but I don't really care. I will ask them everything. Yeah. And what I really want to know is how they do things,
how what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything more valuable than getting it right from, the source. And that source can be, it doesn't, he or she doesn't need to be a professional.
Yeah.
What the fuck that means. But
yeah, it's weird how we revere that, but it doesn't really mean a lot.
Yeah, it's it's like if they make music and there's something they're doing that that you like and they'd be willing to share, ask them.
Yeah.
This information is all out there. It's it's on the internet. It's around people. People even musicians who they don't consider themselves audio engineers. It's like if you just see someone doing something cool that you don't know how they're doing it. I think I ask almost every guitarist, what kind of amp do you use? What kind of guitar settings do you like?
Yeah.
It's usually not like they're secret, so they'll tell me.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I do feel like I'm just like all of a sudden I want to get all of this information from you, and it's like all of a sudden I'm interviewing them when we're just hanging out. But
everyone, if you do this kind of work, whether it's as a hobby or whatever, it doesn't matter. But like if you do this kind of work, you're probably really into it. So it's like
I'm interested, so I'm going to get the information out of you no matter what.
Yeah. So. I like that attitude. I think a lot of people are afraid of approaching others too. So I think it's a good idea. It's a good thing to do.
And it's like vice versa. I mean, obviously I'm not the best at articulating these kind of my kind of processes, but if anyone I know ever wants to know anything about how I like to do things, depending on what it is, it's like I'm like, okay, how long do you have? Because I'm a nerd, attitude. And and think as engineers, we should all embrace being nerds.
Yeah, we're all
And
nerds.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You don't keep doing it if you're not a nerd, I think.
I'm on Reverb all day long.
Nice.
And
Hey, remember when I got that Spirit microphone from Reverb and you were jealous?
I'm still jealous.
I was pretty proud of myself.
Because the first day you were like, I think I missed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet you did. And then the next day you're like, oh,
I got one.
like I got it. And it was like, didn't you get it like, on a discount or something?
It wasn't inflated at all, which that was my struggle, was finding one that wasn't inflated. And like, even if the price wasn't inflated, they'd like charge $100 for shipping or something. And so I actually found one that was just normal price, I guess.
I was standing with my pathetic Origin. Single tier.
It's the Origin of the Spirit. We're talking about the Aston microphones for anyone that's here. But yeah, they do sound pretty different. They're very different.
And like I told you before, I got that Origin a long time ago.
Yeah, you're like on top of things with all the new gear and stuff. I don't know how you do it.
I'm dork prime.
Yeah.
But I love it though. I definitely do piss people off sometimes because that's all I talk about. But again, I don't care though.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that Origin was, it was solid. It was awesome that, you were like, I noticed you were like, these are awesome too. And I was like, cool. I think they're cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you want to mention any websites or socials? I know we have your info in the description too, but
I'm kind of just wasn't really ready for it.
Sorry.
But
put you on the spot.
Yeah, you
could dance for us instead.
There's so many great people. I know great artists. I guess I could give you, I don't think they would mind, if
I was asking for yours.
Oh, mine.
People to see you.
Sorry.
I mean, if you want to recommend things, that's cool too.
Okay.
I'm down.
No, I don't. I think you got my
Instagrams, I think.
Up there. And there's more to come. So, anything else that would be coming down the road, it would be showing up on those. So
sweet. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'll cut the feed in a second here when I figure out how to do it. But thanks for coming, everybody. I feel like I should be saying some like exiting statements of some sort. Subscribe, I guess. I don't. How do I YouTube? I realized the other day is 90% of my view hours are from people that are not subscribed. So y'all are slacking.
I think I
Please be
told
nice.
I told my mom about this. So
yeah, nice.
I hope she's there.
She doesn't have to subscribe though if she doesn't want to. We don't
I'll
force
tell her-
moms
I'll
to
tell her.
subscribe. Sweet.
Oh, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for
Yeah, thanks for coming. If you ever want to come on again, I'll probably keep doing these live streams. This is only my second one, so I'm still figuring it out. But
This is the first one, so I would love to come on again and
sweet.
not talk like an idiot.
No, I think you did great. I kind of like the whole hanging out and just having a conversation thing anyway. I feel like I got really into watching videos like that because of COVID. It's like you're hanging out with people.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I kind of started to like that more, so I figured maybe some other people will like to hang out and talk shop.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't mean to sound too forward, but give me more opportunities because something's going. So, yeah.
You stir crazy over there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't do this, I would be here alone, and it would get real shining real fast.
That's why you're like messaging everyone like, what gear do you like?
Exactly. Yeah.
Tell me about your gear now.
Yeah. I know you're working, but yeah.
And then judging people for their French fry decisions.
Well, that's
That's going towards shining. Out of
I don't
control.
want to talk about that anymore
You're
because
out
it's
of
like,
control.
you're-
Wikipedia, man.
I don't care.
Wikipedia.
I don't care.
All right. Bye, everyone. Wait, I still haven't figured out how to end the stream. Hold on. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you won something, send me an email. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
And yes, I think I ended it. Okay, let me.